All right, a bit of a return to normality today. I hit up the gym today and I'm feeling pretty good about all that kind of stuff. And now I'm gonna take you all home. This is my first day back from the vacation that I took. And I mean, all in all, feeling pretty good. Obviously, there's always somewhere you'd rather be, and it's never completely sunshine and rainbows when you're having to go back to work. But I think all things considered, I'm making the most of it. So that is exciting. Hit the gym up today, getting back into that. I kind of knew deep down that I wasn't going to be hitting the gym while I was on vacation, which is unfortunate because I had literally just gotten back into it the Monday or in April, and then I took my vacation in May, and so I'll hit up the gym today, tomorrow, and then I'll hit up the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, skip on Fridays. I've always skipped on Fridays. I'm not trying to be some super massive muscle man. I just want to kind of stay in shape and build some strength. And so I go there and I do what exercises I feel like I need to do. And I go home. I don't spend a whole lot of time there, 30 to 45 minutes of actual exercise time. I don't just go there, do a couple of things and be like, oh, it's been 30 minutes, I'm done. I'll time when I sit down on the first actual exercise, and then I will go until usually I go until I've hit all the things that I want to hit, but sometimes I'll hit a rut where I can't get in or on the machines that I'm trying to get into or onto. And so I'll be like, well, I've at least been hitting it for 30 minutes. I should be good. And so, like I said, again, I'm not trying to be some massive, hulking mass of a man, but just trying to stay in some general sense of shape and see kind of what springs out from there. It has been an exciting time and will continue to be an exciting time, and I don't foresee anything changing anytime soon, but it's ultimately very interesting getting back into the swing of things and back into the saddle. I got a decent amount of feedback from strangers and friends over the internet on these videos that I'm making, and so we'll see kind of what shakes there. A good buddy of mine is you really need to start honing in on your thing and making your thing a very clear thing. And I get what he's saying, and to a degree it makes sense, but to the same end, I kind of want my thing to just be me talking about whatever I'm talking about. And I've said this before, in that it's a problem because I'm not an internet celebrity, and so unless I'm talking about something that people are inherently interested in, they're not going to gravitate to my content. And so that's why it's nice to have some other form of content that I lean on and talk about, and hopefully get people interested in that. One thing that I have thought about doing is breaking up the days. So Monday's my music day, Tuesday's my whatever day, Wednesday's my whatever day, and whatever. I just don't want to break the legitimacy of it, in that I start planning it out so much that it feels illegitimate. So that's definitely a factor as well. Whereas I don't want to defeat like I said, I don't want it to feel like it's illegitimate. I'm just making a product for the sake of making a product, and all these people are just watching me recite the YouTube jargon that everyone and their grandma recites. And so hopefully I can remain fresh, but find a way to refine the content enough to where it has a bit of a better direction. Because that way, if I focus on music on Mondays, and I find that my Mondays content start to really take off and gain attention, then that's what I can focus on. Or I can continue doing what I always do and just know that Mondays will be the music day. And I was supposed to start a new wave of content when I got back from vacation. And not only did I not record anything while I was on vacation, but I haven't really established what that new wave of content will be. The vacation unintentionally wound up being a vacation from video making. And I accomplished the opposite of what I'd set out to do, that being to completely revamp and redo my my videos and how I get those taken care of. But to the same end, I also hope that I can, like I said, stay true to who I am, what I'm doing, and also be able to do what I need to do. So we will see. The verdict is still out as to whether or not I will be making videos that are more akin to this like upload strategy, or if I just keep throwing out into the world what I've been throwing out into the world and seeing what sticks. It's been interesting so far. I've definitely seen like a decent level of growth, and that's like I did watch some videos on YouTube growth while I was on vacation, trying to learn up some good stuff and figure out what I'm missing and how I can expand upon what I'm doing. And a big thing that a lot of them keep saying is just upload, and just always be uploading new videos, and hopefully, like, eventually things will kind of work out. And I've heard that from a lot of like the random people watching the channel as well, is they're like, dude, you just got to like be true to yourself and make the content that you want to make. And like people who are illegitimate and make content for the sake of trying to grow on the internet are see-through and hollow. And it feels like a lot of those people are the ones who actually break through on the internet. But like as an artist myself, as an author, someone who strives to make his mark on the world through written storytelling, it does feel disingenuous to just be like, okay, well, I'm going to succeed because I copy and pasted everyone's formula, and eventually things will just kind of fall into place. And so hopefully all things that I've kind of started doing will eventually gain some traction. People will start to pay attention, and then the next thing I know, I look up and I'm actually doing stuff for an audience of people who cares about the stuff that I'm doing. I really look to Dry Creek Wrangler School quite frequently when I look at like the success that I want, because in the terms of like internet success, he is not like the biggest thing on YouTube. He just recently hit 1 million subscribers, but I feel like he has a very engaged audience, an audience who cares about the content, and he's got a unique set of content too. Like, it's not like he's making stuff that everybody makes. And so hopefully we can reach that point as well, where you all are watching me and I'm growing and turn into this YouTube personality. And my goal has always been to like get my time back. Like, I always want to be a creative and I want to create stuff, and it would be a dream to make that be a career. But like, if I could just make enough from YouTube views alone to be able to just have my time back and walk away, like, that would be incredible. And it's funny because people laugh at me because I talk about wanting my time back, and they're like, well, you're a single guy with no kids, like, you have all the time in the world. And I'm like, I recognize that I have more time than people who have other commitments might have, but I also go spend 8 hours a day somewhere on someone else's time doing someone else's stuff, dealing with someone else's problems that realistically could be easily solved if people were not so obnoxious. So it's like, honestly, yeah, that's like really all I look forward to in this life right now, is just getting my time back. But I think the biggest challenge will be, because I'm convinced, like, I know that eventually this will work out. Like, the law of averages, I can't keep pushing my head against this proverbial wall and getting nowhere. Like, eventually people will start to take notice, and people will stop by and say, hey. And I've already got people stopping by and saying, hey, and most of them are providing feedback and things of that nature, but I'm sure that there will be someone out there eventually who sees it and it's just like, you know what, this is legitimately like good stuff. Like, I want to just talk to this guy and be his friend, and like, come on by, we can be friends. I really think that I give off a much better vibe in person than I do at least on camera. I think like in Xbox, I do really well. I do really well when I'm feeding off of other people. But when I'm feeding off of myself, I tend to flounder and be awkward more often than not. And maybe that's just another trick that one learns. The more and more videos they do, the better they get at it, the less awkward it becomes. But I've uploaded at least 150 videos in this challenge right now, and I have still yet to get to the point where I feel like I'm super comfortable behind the camera. Like I said, I'm more comfortable when I'm working off of others. Like, I can do projects behind the camera. That's not what discomforts me. It's the fact that I'm just here driving home and conducting a conversation with you all. I have to come up with something to talk about, and then I have to maintain that conversation for the entirety of this drive. And like, I'll never forget the first one that I did, in that I feel like I did a really good job maintaining that conversation, because I thought for sure that was going to be the issue, is I was going to run out of things to talk about, and I was eventually just going to sit in silence driving my car, and you all were just going to be like, wow, this guy's videos are just absolute garbage. But like, that didn't happen. I maintained a conversation. I've honed my skills since then too. Like, I do better at finding topics to talk about before diving into these videos. I do better at like including audiences into the conversation and like building upon the thoughts and concepts that they present, and capitalizing on things that work and ditching the things that don't. It's a whole pathway to success, and I'm walking that path and doing quite well at it. And so it does feel good at the end of the day to be able to say that I'm doing these videos, and if for nothing else, that makes it worthwhile, I suppose. I bought this new music player, and so I had a music player that I used for years. Technically, I had an iPod that I used for years, and then it crashed on me randomly, and I, at the time, couldn't afford to buy another one, and iPods were relatively out of style by the time I was looking to buy a new one anyway. It was 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. And so I had just bought my first smartphone. So I started keeping my music on there. So a little background, like, I am a huge proprietor of music. I buy and play physical music, as in CDs, cassettes, vinyls. I even have some 8-tracks now. And I build my own database off of my physical collection. And so I don't subscribe to any not podcast, but internet radio, things of that nature. I think it's a bunch of hokey pokey garbage, and that's a rant for another day. But what I will say is that so I bought my phone after my iPod crashed. I got my iPod back to life, actually, but it would only play like fractions of songs. It would only play like the first 2 minutes of a 5-minute song. It was stupid. So I was like, this isn't gonna work. So I loaded music onto my phone, and obviously, like, I have my full library at the time was probably close to like 15,000 songs. And obviously I can't put all that on my phone, so I would load them into my phone in 100-song playlists. And so I would put 100 songs on there, and then every weekend I'd switch it out for another 100 songs. And that was fine for a while. And then I finally started looking into like who makes portable music players. And I found this one by Astle and Kern, which I really liked. It was a hefty piece of machinery. It was great. But so I got that. I rocked it for a while. I actually spent my first stimulus money check on that thing. That's how expensive they were. And that's why I didn't buy one immediately after having realized that people still made MP3 players, because I was like, oh, well, these people made one, but it is very expensive, so I'm not going to buy it anytime soon. So at any rate, spent my stimulus money on that, rocked it for a good while. I misplaced it. Was it March of last year that I misplaced it? It must have been after March. So it's been gone close to a year now, because I can remember having taken my managerial promotion and still having it. And so it was around March or April of last year that I misplaced it. And then I told myself I was not going to replace it, because I was like, that was a very expensive thing to just poof, be gone one day. And eventually I just said to heck with it, and I replaced the thing. And so I bought the new one for my birthday this year. I didn't go with the same brand because I didn't want to spend quite as much, and was hoping that the quality of this one would be pretty good, and it was. So all in all, I've been really thrilled with this new music player, and it takes everything in my power to not play with that thing on my way to and from work like I normally would, and instead fire up the camera and talk to you all. And it's kind of interesting because, like, previously my primary use for that music player was drive time. And like when I was driving, I would throw on some music and it would be great. And every now and again, like when I'm on weekends and stuff, when I'm just driving around, I don't want to film a video or whatever, and I'll throw that thing on, and it's nice. As a music nut like me, it is very nice to have all of my music in one singular place, in one player. And so that is very refreshing, but it's making it very tempting for me to not film these. But I can say confidently that it's not tempting enough for me to seriously contemplate not filming these, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Like today, I drove all the way to work, filmed my video, realized that I left my laptop at home. So I had to drive all the way back and then drive all the way back to work. And I did so while listening to my things. I was like, I'm not going to film 2 more videos that's just silly. And that felt really good. And then I, of course, proceeded to listen to the thing most of the day today at work, and it did some really good work. And so I'm really happy with it, really happy with how it turned out. And so it has been good, all in all good. And so I'm hoping that since it's brand new and something that I new and shiny that I really like and stuff, if I can resist the urge to play with it while driving to and from work, I think we're good to say that I will keep this habit up for a good while. I am, however, worried that buying it wasn't necessarily worth the money, in that I don't listen to music outside of like home enough to make it worth my time. Like, I primarily will be listening to this thing at work, and it's like if I didn't work, like for example that whole week that I was off, how often did I use it? Not very. And so it's just interesting that I'm buying this thing just to make work essentially more tolerable. Like I said, it does do good work when I'm driving and not filming videos, which does happen. But it's also just interesting. It's like, is it worth the money? Is it worth the spend? And so, at any rate, it was kind of funny. I got contacted by this other person, and I had no idea who they were, and they needed something, and I was like, I'm not in the office. You guys can deal with it sometime later. And they wound up getting a hold of my evening person, and my evening person got taken care of. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm good with that, because I don't feel like dealing with you. And it's funny too because the person, like the place that they're at, they never hardly ever help us out when we need help. But when they need help, we're Johnny on the spot to get them what they need. And it's just funny how that all unfolds. So, but I'm gonna make some shrimp Alfredo today. I had fresh shrimp in my fridge for a week, and I was like, I should probably freeze this. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, and I don't want it going bad. And it's been in the fridge for a week now. It's getting close to that point, and so I froze it, which I was mad because it was fresh shrimp, like it had never been frozen before, and here I am ruining it by freezing it. And then today I was like, you know what, I'm going to make shrimp Alfredo with it. And I was like, well, that's dumb. I went and stuck it in the fridge, and I'm going to end up cooking it today anyway, but oh well. We can't always make the best decisions. Sometimes we make bad decisions, and that's life, and that's living. As long as I have shrimp and can eat it, I should be happy, because there's plenty of people in this world who don't have food to begin with, and if they have food, they don't have shrimp. So I will not look my frozen shrimp in the eye and be like, you frozen shrimp. But I will kick myself for not realizing sooner that I needed to cook something during the week, and it probably should have been this shrimp. But oh well. I'll cook it today, and it'll be fine. And that's just the way that it will work. My grass already needs mowing, and I just mowed it last weekend, this weekend, whatever weekend. I'll just keep mowing it indefinitely until I can mow no mow. Anyway, thank you all for your time. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful day.